Ma, Sar, Rup. Delicious.
In the Philippines, you can easily find taho being peddled around on the streets. But in the US and in other countries, that is hardly the case. If you want to have taho in the US, and I mean the authentic taho that tastes like manongs on the streets of the Philippines, and not the one just merely mixed with gelatin, you'd have to make it yourself. But taho is not that easy to make from scratch, especially if you follow the traditional way of making it from scratch. From soaking the soybeans overnight, to peeling the skin, to blending the soybeans with water, batch by batch, to straining the soy milk, etc. etc. That procedure will surely take up a lot of your time. But what if I told you that we could replace all those tedious initial steps with just this? Because here in the US, you can buy soy milk in the supermarket already pre-packed, and it only costs less than $3 per 32 ounce or half gallon pack. That would certainly make things much simpler. But don't be fooled, it's not as easy as it may look. Because I have tested many times different soy milk brands, different tofu coagulants available in Amazon, including experimenting on the right quantity for the tofu coagulant, the right temperature and techniques, etc. But I could never get it right early on. Just to explain, I have tested the regular soy milk brand by itself, but could never find the right consistency. Then I also tested the organic version by itself, but also I still could not find the right consistency. The taho came out too rough and hard, and not at all silky. But then a happy accident occurred when I mixed the two brands together. And surprisingly, it yielded the most perfect, soft and silky taho that I was looking for. I cannot exactly explain why this was so please don't ask me why. Just trust me when I say that that combination yielded the very best results. So in this video, I will share with you exactly how I did it, so that the next time you have a party, you can easily prepare delicious silky taho exactly like manongs in the Philippines to surprise your guests. So here it goes. For this recipe, I used 2 half-gallon packs of the regular soy milk and 1 half-gallon pack of organic soy milk. I used 3 half-gallon packs because this is what will fit into my container. But if your container is smaller, use 1 regular soy milk and 1 organic soy milk instead. You will also need this tofu coagulant. It's the GDL tofu coagulant, and you can find a link in the description box below if you want to purchase it. You will also need some tapioca pearls. I like to use the small ones because they are easier to cook, but you are free to use whatever tapioca pearls you like. You will also need dark brown sugar, not light brown sugar, as the color of the syrup made from dark brown sugar looks best compared to the light brown sugar. You will also need any kind of rice warmer, either a rice cooker or an instant pot like this one, which has a keep warm feature. This is best to use because after a few hours the taho will get cold and you need to reheat it to warm it up. There's nothing more frustrating for your guests than eating cold taho. You will also need a digital scale as the recipe requires you to be precise with the measurements. And lastly, you will need a thermometer to monitor the temperature. For me, this infrared thermometer works best as it is easy and convenient to use. But you can of course use any kind of thermometer for food that you have at home. Boil water and mix about 1 cup of brown sugar. You can add more brown sugar if you prefer. When the water boils, add about 1/2 cup to 1 cup of the small tapioca pearls. Let it cook for about 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, just turn off the heat and let it cool down. The tapioca pearls will slowly absorb some more of the water and get a little bigger as it cools down. For this batch, I use 1000 grams of dark brown sugar. Mix it with water equivalent to 40% of the weight of the dark brown sugar. So in this case, the water will be 400 grams. I already perfected the ratio, so this one already yields the perfect syrupy consistency, just like this. Just heat up the brown sugar mixture and let the temperature rise to about 190 to 195 degrees Fahrenheit, or just below the boiling point. Don't let it boil, as doing so will change the consistency of the syrup. When done, turn off the heat and let the syrup cool down. You can also skim out the top of the syrup so you are left with a clean syrup. Place the soy milk in a pot and turn on the heat. You have to consistently stir the soy milk to prevent it from burning. Let the temperature rise to about 185 to 190 degrees Fahrenheit, again also below the boiling point. Don't let the temperature go any higher. Now while the soy milk heats up, start preparing your coagulant by weighing about 11.5 grams of coagulant for every half-gallon pack of soy milk. So in this case, since we are using 3 half-gallon packs, we will need 34.5 grams to a maximum of 36 grams of tofu coagulant. At this point, just set aside the coagulant and we will only dissolve it with water just before we pour the heated soy milk into it. If you let the coagulant mix with water for a long time, there is a tendency for your taho to taste a bit sour. Just continue checking on the temperature of the soy milk. When it reaches 185 to 190 degrees Fahrenheit, turn off the heat. Now we are ready to mix the coagulant with water. For every pack of soy milk, you will need 50 grams of water. So in this case, we used 3 packs of soy milk, so we will need 150 grams of water. Mix it thoroughly until the coagulant fully dissolves. Then pour this into your final container, in this case, our rice cooker. For the final step, you will need to pour the heated soy milk into the container. Now, this is very important. You have to pour the soy milk continuously as fast as you can until you empty the pot. You cannot pour it slowly since the coagulant reacts fast. If you don't pour it continuously, there's a tendency for your taho to be broken and not smooth. You will also need to skim the bubbles on top. Also, do not ever mix or disturb the soy milk after you pour it. Just leave it alone and let it set. Then partially cover the container to let the heat dissipate a bit. After 30 minutes to 1 hour, the taho should be already ready.